Okay. So, Alchemy Stars. This is a mobile game that I was super into for most of its 3-year run, and it went to end of service at the end of January this year. And in a bizarre, rare display of generosity, existing players were allowed to keep their content offline. So, like, I have all of the characters that I unlocked, but you can't roll for new ones. Most of the menu is gone. You can't customize a lot of stuff, and it reverted my player level to 1. But all of the characters you did unlock are at max level, max equipment refinement. And they gave out like a total of 2,000 free pulls before the game ended. So I managed to unlock basically all but a few event, like crossover type characters. And maybe like 3 regular ones I didn't get. It also didn't save my like favorite teams, so I'll be kind of like doing things on the fly here. But yeah, this was a really fun game. And there's not really another one like it, so I can't just like move on to a clone of it, because it was never super big to begin with. And it also kind of came out at an awkward time, like I think it was like a little bit before Genshin Impact came out, and mobile games started to get more towards like 3D, open world, high production value stuff. But that's why we're here. Because I like this game as a game. And I thought it was really neat. And there is a fan effort to hide the buttons below my avatar. Oh my god, why didn't anybody say anything? I just had my interface just up there the entire time. That's great. Yes, this was a mobile game. Until January 21st. But there is a fan Discord you can find through the subreddit. It's called the Astra Project. And they're working on getting the game like in a fully offline playable state. Which, the game is gone from the App Store. You can't just reinstall it, and they closed off new accounts like a month before the game ended. And since the servers are gone, you have to log in by loading QR codes into it. And they really quickly figured out how to hack the QR codes so you can just, like, get a complete game clear. I am already in Chapter 1. We'll just go ahead and play a few random stages here. I don't have any great plan here. I'm not going to play like the entire game start to finish. We'll play a few boss stages, a few regular stages. We'll skip the tutorial stuff. It's not that complicated. But you got like a rock, paper, scissors elemental system. And yeah, what the hell, we'll keep this electric team that I had sitting around. So the premise of the game is it's a strategy RPG, and you play the last of this telepath race, who are capable of seeing what are called light trails. And so you can guide these other characters who are magically infused, called Aurorians, into battle. It's kind of like in Fire Emblem Awakening, how the main character can just like see the air quotes flow of battle, and that makes them like an instinctive master tactician. So you fight by connecting light-colored color tiles. Okay, I beat one row, or one wave of enemies, and the stage objective has changed to escape as quickly as possible. Which I could totally cheese if I had a teleporter character. I'll just go ahead and... do this. Do I have any more converters? Yeah. I always used to like playing like weirdo budget RPGs that I found in like the bargain bin at GameStop. And this is when I got into like stuff like Yggdra Union and Knights in the Nightmare. And the way that you kind of zigzag around the battlefield, duck goosing people to death with your team. Something about that just really clicked for me. Let's see. We'll build a water team. Azure is probably one of my favorite characters. Connolly is very strong. These little icons up here, this splash icon is like a detonator. They're basically DPS. This pinwheel looking thing is a converter. They convert tiles to whatever color. Usually whatever color they are. So, given that the game revolves around matching color tiles, converters are very, very useful. These crosses, that's a support character. A lot of them are healers, but not all of them. Sometimes they're like statuses or stuff like that. Vice is kind of like the main girl of the game. In a surprisingly cute turn, the relationship between Vice and the main character is pretty much confirmed to be strictly platonic. Not that I'm like a no romance killjoy type person, but I just thought it was neat that they did the thing where they get separated towards the end of the main story that came out. And they just like, they say like, of course I'm concerned, she's my best friend. And I'm like, oh, well that's nice. I need to play some later stages if I want these fights to last more than like a turn. So I can show off some of the skills. Like Azure here, her skill, she puts like a little hollow projector thing down. And you can make this thing just attack as a free action, more or less, which I'm going to skip because I don't want this fight to immediately end. Vice will fire like tons of arrows that power up more depending on how many blue tiles surround the party. Let's see, what's some other good stuff? I remember this fight being like a real pain. This character, this boss, has a gimmick where like she has 4 statues around the arena that will like awaken and seal a corresponding color. And if she seals all 4 element colors, you just die. So we're gonna need to put a mixed team together. She is weak to green, so we'll put green last. It's also probably a good idea to have someone that has spreads the damage out a bit. So let's try it with Vice. Connolly hits everything. Let's try... Who's a good fire character we can throw in there? Toru from Dragon Maid. And we'll get somebody electric. Forest is going to be the one that probably does the finishing blow, because that's her weakness. But the way that the elemental totems are going to come out is going to be based on the order of the party characters.
Yeah.
So we don't want our strongest people to be too far up the order. I can't guarantee I'm going to win this, but I want to try. This one gave me so many headaches when I was playing it when it first came out. So you see there's a green notch in the middle of this boss's life bar. Corresponds to this lock. That means that you cannot one-shot the boss. Let's think this one out here. Go ahead and throw a fireball. I want to save the AoEs for when these statues start awakening. So the blue statue just woke up, and now the blue characters have their skills sealed. Except the leader, I guess. Vice decided to not attack the statue. Go this way. Now blue and red are sealed. And there are two green statues, so... I'm kinda hosed. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess I'm not dead yet. Okay, now I'm dead. For lore reasons, when you're completely cut off from your light flow, you're just unable to fight back. So let's jump ahead to part 2, where things start to get a little more sci-fi-y. The cyber incursion. One of the factions has a bunch of military hardware. The Illumina Federation. This is a fun stage. You have to stop a mech from, like, reaching a fortress. The mech is red, so we're gonna build ourselves another blue team. We'll mix it up a little and not just use the same people every turn. We'll see if Fia can be useful this time. Bethel, Ruby. The alternate form of Vice is good for single targets. She doesn't fire arrows everywhere. And I've actually never used Tina, so let's see if Tina's good. Now, this isn't really a great matchup here. Everybody has like double water tiles. Some characters get like dual elemental, which means they can take advantage of both colors at once. But you do like your secondary element like at a reduced amount. So double elemental is good for like DPS's sake. It's just like they cut down versatility. So we gotta keep that thing from busting down the gate. And it's gonna make its way up the map a little bit at a time. So Bethel here summons minions. And these minions will attack every time I cast an active ability. So every time I do another active, that minion's gonna bop this guy. Fia has like a system where she plants marks on the ground, and you kind of let them sit around for a while. In a few turns, I'll cash them in for like big damage and a giant area of attack. Oh, that's kind of neat. Except it threw me off a little bit. Oh well. Boop, 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 boop. Drop another minion. Tag this guy again. I know he's got that armored core dash. Such a weird skill. Well, since it's about to move too far up, let's go ahead and cash these in. Basically, she's leaving bait for her little pet whale. Okay, it's hit one of the locks, so it's not going to take any more damage this turn. No, it didn't go any further up. Cool. Another thing I have at my disposal in this stage is when it gets close enough to the gates, this little icon down here will light up, and you can like get support fire from the base. We'll blow up the last of these. Okay, cool. That's another chunk of its health off. You know, I played this stage earlier, and this guy was like way more aggressive going up the map. If you can get up to a 15 combo in this, you enter what's called Aurora time, where you get a bonus turn. There we go. I don't know. I don't know if I'm really selling the game that much, but I played the daylights out of this when it was live, and I'm happy to see that there's a pretty good fan community around it. I wish I'd gotten involved with said community before the game went offline. But, like I said, they're working on making an offline version. Or a full offline version, rather. There's a lot of side contents and side modes that kind of went away. What's this guy? Boredom Shatterblast. We'll fight this thing. And we'll make a fire lineup. This guy hits people with a train. This guy hits people with a big wrench. She has a torture kink. She's a pyromaniac. And this is a wholesome dad who wants you to eat well. So this guy cracks the tiles, which means you can't rack up combos. Look at the AoE on this guy. Sinzo's Shatter Blast. Shatter Strike. Whatever. And as you see, the tiles are refreshing as I do this, so they're going to be usable again. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out, there's like another neat feature of this. Enemies that take up multiple tiles take one hit per, like, space they occupy, which makes AoE dealers really, really good. It also kind of makes life difficult to be big, but that's not a problem you have to worry about. See how the combo stays at 10 when I go between this and the crack tile? Basically, the gimmick of this boss is that it's hard to combo him, so you have to have, like, good base damage. That's not good. Knockback kind of sucks when your converters are on cooldown. Oh yeah, looking at all the color tiles reminded me, this is like one of the rare games that actually included a colorblind mode, where they put elemental icons on the tiles to make it easier to tell which ones you're on. Isn't that just cool? Oh man. Yeah, I realize this probably isn't like the most impressive game, and they didn't do a lot to like innovate it as it ran, which is probably a part of the reason the player base dropped off a lot. It wasn't printing infinite money. We come from hell. Losing is not possible. I think I'll spend the last little chunk here just flipping through some of the CGs and the characters and stuff. As with most of these, there's a gigantic roster of different characters. A lot of the designs are pretty creative. Technically, all these characters are like the same race. They just have like so many possible ways they can manifest. They're split between factions, like one's almost like a Vatican type faction, one's like modern military. There's a criminal underworld. This guy's from a band of bandits who are kind of like a Mad Max gang, but wholesome. He's one of the ones from the army faction. It's part of like their R&D department. He's one of the bandits. He's one of the 4 big generals from the army. And then, yeah, they had a few obligatory crossovers. They did Dragon Maid, Persona 5, and Atelier Ryza. Some people blame the closing of the game on the Persona 5 collab. They think that collabing with Persona is a kiss of death. I think I'm more inclined to blame the Ryza one. I think I've seen more games close faster after collabing with Ryza. But yeah, there's just tons of characters. Most of them have like interesting quirks to them too. Which, when I got a character, I had like a pretty good roster of like characters that I used on the regular. So when a new character came out, it was less like, oh man, I gotta get them to keep up with the meta and stuff like that. It was more like, oh, I bet they do something weird, I can't wait to try that out. Yeah, here's like the story CGs though, like I was saying, you play a character who's like the last of this telepath race, and you've been spending 17 years inside your living airship before like someone from the outside makes contact with you. And then with the aid of this girl, you play a duet on the piano that powers the ship, basically. It's like piano controlled, it's strange. But with her help, you finally get the startup ritual to work. And then make your way out of the cave. This is the Colossus when it first takes flight. And yeah, RPG stuff happens. You meet people from the different factions. You meet the insane train man. Here's some of the people from the, like the Holy Capital. These are the generals having a meeting. The story for the game pretty much cut off abruptly. The major factions had all gotten together and were getting ready to go off into enemy territory. They kind of get waylaid by this character who had been kind of coerced into working with the military because they gave her an artificial heart they were threatening to take off. Or turn off. Yeah, there's a lot of these. She's got like, she was talking with one of the enemies that was like offering to give her a real heart back. Then she decides like, you know what? If I have to live here with her forever, that's the same as not being free. And he rejects it. I don't know if she's going to get her heart fixed later, because the game is not going to continue. Anyway, I apologize for the rambling, but I thank you all for your time. Again, this is a game I put a lot of time into. I enjoyed playing it a lot. And, with luck, maybe the fan project will go off. Maybe it'll take off. They're actually planning to do a fan dub of it, which is impressive. Hopefully it goes well. But that's going to be it for this little showcase. Hope you guys found it interesting. Maybe the next time I bring it up, I'll have some good news to share. If anyone's interested in trying it, I think they did figure out a way to install the temp files again, but you'll probably have to do some jumping around, some hoop jumping, if you want to install the offline version. But yeah, Alchemy stars. Won't you? Take care, guys.